Hello again, welcome back to Weathered Oak Media. I'm Will, and I hope you're all doing well out there, in spite of all the troubles in the world. For me, one of the biggest challenges of this year, beyond the current pandemic, is that I've gone back to school after 25 years away. I decided it was time to learn new things and gain new skills, and so I've enrolled in a digital design program at North Island College here on Vancouver Island, BC. I'm learning all kinds of cool new things like web design, graphic design, digital culture, and so many more interesting things. It is a lot of work, and some of it is really, really hard. But you know what? It is really interesting, and I am enjoying it. Now, as it turns out, I also had to fill out a few credit requirements, so I decided to take an art history course. And that's actually what brings me to this video. And you've probably noticed this drawing here behind me. Well, the drawing and this video are actually part of a school project that I've been working on for most of the term, actually. And I call this piece BC 30,000 BC. And I'm going to tell you more about it after this. Welcome back. As I mentioned in my intro, this drawing and this video are actually part of a class project that I've been working on in my art history class. The assignment was to choose a piece of artwork from any point in history that's covered in our textbook and do a write-up about it. That write-up features, of course, your formal analysis, your contextual analysis, and all of that good stuff. It's been a while since I've written a paper like that. It looks pretty good. I hope I did all right. At the time that I'm filming this, I have no idea what my grade is going to be. So, fingers crossed. Now, a lot of people went with various points in history, including Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, all of the wonderful periods in history. I decided to go way back in time and do an analysis of the cave drawings, particularly the ones found in Chauvet, France, which are among the oldest cave drawings in the world. Part two of the project involves a creative response. You're watching it and you're looking at it here behind me. The creative response could have been anything. I paint, sculpt, photography, videography, drawing. Well, I decided to put the last two together as my creative response. And before I actually get into this drawing, I'm going to take a few little notes from my paper and give you guys just a quick little history lesson on the Chauvet Caves, just for context, for those of you who might not know much about them. I'll just give you the bullet points in a moment here. The Chauvet Caves are named for Mr. Jean-Marie Chauvet, who, along with his friends Eliette Brunel and Christian Hilaire, discovered them in December of 1994 in the Ardèche region of France near the Pont d'Arc. A small passageway was discovered, so they made their way through it and down into a much larger cave. Before long, they came face to face with hundreds of animal drawings. These drawings have been radiocarbon dated to up to nearly 36,000 years old. They are primarily drawn in charcoal and ochre pigments and are also etched into the walls. The level of detail and incredible age has forced researchers to completely rethink what we know about Paleolithic art. The animals take on a 3D animated appearance thanks to the overlapping extra lines and the natural contours of the cave walls. If you factor in that these artists would have been working by firelight, you can imagine the shapes they would have seen in the shadows. No one knows the actual reasons why the ancient people drew these animals, or why they chose to do them in such deep caves, but many researchers believe there may have been a spiritual or ceremonial purpose. Perhaps it was a primitive form of social media, like Cavebook, and they were just documenting what they saw and ate, just like we do now. A landslide caused by an earthquake some 29,000 years ago sealed the cave's entrance and created a perfect time capsule. To preserve the delicate environment, the caves have been hermetically sealed up once again and are closed to the public. Those who wish to see them in full scale can visit the replica in the nearby Pont d'Arc Museum. If you can't do that, check out the virtual tour on the French Ministry of Culture's Archaeology Chauvet website. Given the large scale of my drawing, the best place that I could think of to do this was on this blank wall in our spare room. It's about 7 feet wide and measures about 9 feet tall. Unlike the deep dark caves in France, the biggest obstacle I have to face in getting into this room is not getting tripped up by our cat Onyx. Oh, don't let her cuteness fool you. She will get underfoot, and she will trip you. The surface I chose to draw on was this ordinary brown wrapping paper that I was able to find at a dollar store. I thought the brown color would be very much like the cave walls themselves. I also wrinkled the paper before I hung it up on the wall. I hung 2 layers. The extra layer provided extra protection and also provided extra texture to draw on as well. As you can see, the paper kind of bounces a little bit, kind of flexes a little bit as I'm drawing on it, which isn't much like a cave, but did allow me to kind of work with the contours and the wrinkles in the paper to help create the animal shapes. I used willow charcoal as my main medium, as well as other types of charcoal, and a red ochre pigment that I made from chalk pastels. The drawing was stretched out in several sessions over several days. It was one of those projects that I could walk away from and come back to every now and again. Draw a horse, draw a bison, draw a bird. You'll notice it's also pretty dim in here when I'm drawing in this scene. That's because, much like the original artist drawing by firelight, I drew by candlelight. Because again, setting a fire in the middle of my room would probably be frowned upon by my manager. The candlelight was kind of neat to work with because, as you can see, there are lots of shadows being cast there, and the wrinkles in the paper help bring that out. In all, there are about 22, 23 different animals featured here. The neat thing about these drawings is when you look across them quickly enough, given that the way they're drawn and the texture of the surface, they almost become animated. They sort of take on a little bit of movement as your eye moves around. This bit of footage was shot under with the lights on in the room just so that you could see everything that's there. But the best way to truly appreciate these drawings and to really bring them to life is by candlelight, because, as again, they were drawn by firelight. So let's bring these animals to life. I brought my wife in to help me out here with the lighting, and let's just take a walk. So thanks very much for watching this video. I really enjoyed putting this all together and working on this drawing. And again, I'm really glad I've taken this this art history course. I've learned quite a bit. And next year I'm going to take the second half, which picks up where this one left off and brings us into modern era. So who knows, maybe in about a year's time I'll do another massive, giant drawing, but modern art instead. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. If you like what you've seen, by all means please subscribe. If not, my feelings won't be hurt. I make these videos for fun, not for popularity. Although in this case I actually made it for a school project, but it was also still for fun as well. Nonetheless, thanks very much for watching. Everybody take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.